Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Not Sure If Normal Stuff, and it says, I 33 female, think there are some strange things going on at my stepson, 6 males, grandmothers, 58 females home. Does this sound normal to you? Throwaway here for anonymity. Hope you understand. I am the stepmother of a boy who just turned 6. His mother died when he was an infant. So there is no bio mother in the picture. He spends time with his maternal grandmother about once a month, usually for a weekend at a time. This has been going on for a year now. Prior to that, she lived farther away and it was not as often for the visits. His grandmother is a little off, in the best of circumstances. Now, I want to preface this by saying I'm not accusing her of anything. I'm just wondering if this sounds unusual to anyone else. Lately, say the last 5 times we saw her, he comes back from home with his pajamas unworn. She doesn't send any of his clothes home unwashed, so I can tell easily what he wore and didn't. I ask him, hey, what do you wear to sleep at grandma's? And he got really worried looking, like he was going to be in trouble if he told me, but eventually caved and told me he sleeps in his underwear only. I asked him where he sleeps at his grandma's. I always just assumed she made up the couch for him, and he said in her bed with her. I asked him what his grandma wears to bed and he said her underpants. Now, am I off in thinking it's inappropriate for a 6-year-old boy to sleep in only his underpants in the same bed as his grandmother, who is only in her underpants? This is not anything I ever saw or did as a child. We never slept in just underwear, not even in the summer, and never in bed with an adult unless we were sick or something. It's not only the fact that he is sleeping in her bed in his underwear, or she is only in hers, that bothers me. It's the shame he obviously felt in telling me. Like either it feels wrong to him as well, or he was told not to tell me. I don't know. When he visits my husband's parents, he sleeps on the couch in their family room, as he has done his whole life, basically since he was out of a crib. He's never had any issues there. I asked him about it again the other day, when he came back from a visit, and he immediately broke down sobbing and saying, Grandma's couch is dirty. I can't sleep on it. Don't make me stop seeing Grandma. As if he is being told by her not to tell us where he sleeps. I told my husband I think he, as the father, should tell her he needs to be sleeping with clothes on at the very least, but says even if we tell her he needs to sleep clothed on the couch, she won't listen. He basically says she's weird but she's harmless, and even if we threaten to stop allowing him visits, does that even matter? We have no way of knowing what she is doing or not doing over there. She could promise to stop but continue it and we really won't know. Thoughts? Edit. I just think it's important to say that the PJs he is sent with are a t-shirt and shorts or fleece pants depending on the season. Same thing he wears to bed at home. It's not like I'm expecting him to sleep in a nun's habit. Also, to those who pointed out grandma's couch might really be very dirty. I never considered that honestly. To me, a dirty couch might have a few items on it that can easily be cleared off and put away. Grandma does have hoarding issues and isn't a very hygienic person, so it is very possible the couch is quite dirtier than I ever imagined. Edits. One more thing with regards to the hoarding. Grandma has been a hoarder as long as my husband has known her, and I think that's why he kinda writes it off. Many of you are rightly appalled that we let him visit a known hoarder, but my husband doesn't see the actual danger of the hoarding situation, as it never caused danger in her case before. She doesn't keep the house as well as we do. That's a fact, but it's not the level of stuff you see on TV with bugs and mice and 40 million cats and rotten food, but it's definitely extremely cluttered, and she won't throw anything away. She does throw food away, or at least always has in the past. It feels like since he has known her many years and even had her living with him at one point, he knows the general state of her home and doesn't consider it dangerous. I think the potential for danger is totally there, but I don't know how to get him to see that it's really not normal. You guys very well could be exactly right that it's more of a I don't want my parents to know how grandma's house is or they won't let me go there reaction. I never considered that as an option. I thought the problem was the underwear thing, which, while still unusual to me, the bed sharing as a result of uncleanliness/hoarding is the bigger problem. Thank you. N Dave T says to that one, sleeping in underwear, not at all weird if it's his choice, but weird that grandma doesn't dress him in the pajamas you provide. Sleeping next to grandma, not necessarily weird at his age. His reaction to you asking about it, very concerning. Your husband's reaction that grandma will disregard instructions from the parents, also concerning. Mo Saw says this is weird. In quotes, he basically says she's weird but she's harmless. And says, is this all he had to say? What else is weird about her and how does he know it's harmless? Behavior doesn't have to be illegal to be harmful. I think a lot of people forget to draw separate lines there. I recall the Michael Jackson claims that he was just sleeping in the bed with children and nothing sexual ever happened. Well, sorry, but that's still weird and inappropriate for a man your age. You need to tread lightly as really your husband is the one who has to do something since it's his son and former mother-in-law. But you need to keep your ears and eyes peeled. Don't do anything drastic unless something drastic happens, as you don't want your stepson to clam up about his sleepovers. Just listen for anything that crosses any more lines and inform your husband of any further inappropriate behavior. Opie says, the other weird things about her are pretty subjective, I guess. She's a serious hoarder, has terrible financial responsibility, is kind of unhygienic, extremely religious, so by harmless I think he means she isn't really hurting anyone, but she is noticeably odd to the general public. For me, it was the distress response that really jumped out to me in that situation. The don't make me stop seeing grandma reaction. And regardless of what it is, this is your child. It's not something that you can brush off with, the dad's response in this, the dismissive, she's weird but harmless. You can't do that when your child isn't involved. Overall, the child is the priority in this situation, and you need to be looking out for the kid no matter what, basically. But Opie comes in with an update and says, so after all your comments, I pushed my husband to have us drive his son to the grandmother's house next time she asked to have him for the weekend, which was this past weekend. He didn't immediately agree to it, but eventually caved. And here's what happened. Turns out grandma lives in a fairly new townhouse community. Typical beige walls, beige carpet, laminate cabinets type of deal. You all know the kind, I'm sure. When we got there, I said I really needed to use the bathroom. She at first was trying to tell me that there is a big 24/7 gas station a mile further down the road. Told you she hates me, but I told her it's pretty emergent and I would be quick. My husband just followed me in with my stepson, and you could tell grandma was nervous. Ladies and gents, I was actually not as horrified as I thought I'd be. The townhouse was most certainly cluttered, but I would not call it a fire hazard. I'll call it very tastelessly decorated. Knick-knack shelves on every wall, lots of magazines and flyers on tables, ugly-ass interstitial swags above every door. The kind of place that would never look clean even if it were. Just a lot of ugly crap, but nothing dirty. The bathroom was messier than I would live with, but didn't seem gross. Lots of bottles and stuff laying around, that kind of thing. Toilet seemed normal and I peeked in the tub and it had a lot of bottles but wasn't dirty. Baseboards and study could have used a cleaning, but I can't say mine are spotless all the time, so I didn't know. I thought it was a 1-bed, 1-bath, but it turns out it's a 2-bed, 1-bath. One bedroom being grandma's bedroom, the other being a sewing room/storage room. I looked in and there is suddenly not room for a bed in it. Lots of boxes and totes and a big table with a sewing machine. I figured out the couch thing, I think. The couch is very obviously her dog's bed. Her dog is this big white, reasonably friendly creature, but it was clear the couch is its spot. There was a fleece blanket covering most of the couch, and said blanket was covered in dog hair. I would not want to sit on that, nor sleep there. So, as far as the underwear stuff, I made a point to tell grandma that his PJs are in the bag and he needs to be wearing them. That he mentioned he doesn't wear them and we prefer he did. She was taken a little back and kind of stumbled out an, okay. My husband then added that since he is sleeping with her, she needs to be clothed too, as he also told us she sleeps in her underwear. She vehemently denied that, saying she sleeps in a granny gown. So it would appear that the couch is indeed not a suitable sleeping spot. My husband told Grandma that the next time we will be bringing a twin-size air mattress for her to keep there for him. I personally wish my husband had done that this time, but I'm picking my battles with him. But I'm gonna make damn sure he does. When my stepson returned home, his PJs appeared worn. He claimed that he wore them, and I said, okay, but you won't be in trouble if you didn't. You just need to tell me. And he insisted he wore them. So, the visits aren't going to stop. My husband just does not think that is necessary. We'll be providing Grandma with an air mattress to keep there for my stepson, and we will be monitoring the PJ situation. Thank you all for the comments on the original post. I'm doing the best I can to make this situation better. Edit. Please read the original post before commenting. Grandma is not my mother-in-law. She is not my husband's mother. She's my husband's first wife's mother. Edit 2. Please read the original post. Those PMing me telling me I'm sick for falsely accusing someone of molestation. I hardly call an anonymous "What do you think of this situation?" post on a subreddit an accusation of molestation. Calm down. What if it had been molestation? Would I have been out of line then? No. Then it would have been, that poor boy. Why didn't you step in sooner? And the comments say, reiterate to your son that if anyone says don't tell mum, he needs to tell you. There shouldn't be secrets in your family. Also, hubby needs to be clearer with mum that she needs to be respectful of you, and yes, you do have a right to see the house and ask questions before you leave him with anyone. He needs to tell her that telling a kid secrets sets him up for abuse, and disrespecting his mum sets him up for becoming a brat. Opie says she's his former mother-in-law, not his mother, for your information. His first wife's mother. Just want to clarify that. And many of the comments were saying after this one, there is a rule. There's no secrets with adults, not your grandparents and not even with your parents. Other people reminiscing when they used to sleep in the same bed as their grandmas most weekends and in their underpants and just said that their grandmas were the best people ever. Other people complimenting on what a good person OP is as a step parent in this situation, looking after the kids and making them the priority. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from OK Preference 2283, and it says, am I the arsehole here for giving my husband the silent treatment after he told me my post-birth body turns him off? I just had my first child about 2 months ago now. We did as the doctor told us and didn't engage in sexual activity until this 6-week period. The first time I was mostly covered and it was great. Nothing to complain about. The second time, my husband, before anything happened, told me that it would be better for me to wear a shirt during like last time. I was immediately defensive and asked him why, and he told me it was because my post-birth tummy is uncomfortable to look at and it would turn him off. Let's just say he slept on the couch that night and I haven't been talking to him. I still can't believe he said something like that to me, and I just had his child. All the pain and struggle I went through just to be told the aftermath of it is a turn off. I don't even want my husband touching me now, and I feel insecure about my body after giving birth now. Should I stop ignoring him or continue giving him the cold shoulder? What a fucking idiot. Why would you say that? An absolutely disgusting, devastating comment to make to someone that supposedly is your world. I mean, come on. A Fall Guy says, tell him that his ugly comment turned you off from being intimate with him. Freedom Fighter says, wow, what an asshole. Not you, him. This is certainly not someone worth your love and energy, but it's not so easy to just walk away now. You have a baby, but I'll say this, that man would not be touching me for a very long time. If I don't feel sexy, I'm not doing it. And he just took away your ability to feel sexy. Stacy says, fuck that guy. You built and birthed an entire human. He should be worshipping you and bending over backwards to make you feel loved, valued, and even beautiful. You made him a baby. All he has to say to you is that your stomach turns him off. When these comments are done filing in, show him that the entire internet thinks he's awful. Most importantly, don't you dare get pregnant by this man again. It will only make the eventual, well-deserved divorce more difficult, not the arsehole. ETA, you may enjoy telling him when he clumsily paws all over you that you have to imagine Ryan Reynolds' abs to even get through it. So OP followed him with their first update and said, so after I had seen many comments telling me that the silent treatment or ignoring your spouse is a form of abuse, I decided it's a better option to finally have a proper conversation about what he said to me the other night. I told him how it offended me and upset me that he feels that way towards my body after I'd just given birth not that long ago. He told me that he knows it's messed up, but he can't help what turns him on. I should have described my body a little in my first post. I have the same frame as before pregnancy, but my stomach has a little pouch now, which I need to work off. But I haven't had the time to be on a strict diet and exercise while taking care of a newborn. We kind of argued over this, and he told me that he's just not used to seeing my body that way, and even seeing me pregnant was something he had to get used to as well, but he did like seeing me that way. The conversation didn't really go anywhere productive, but we've been talking a little more. I'm still mad and offended by what he said, and that he hasn't formally apologized for hurting my feelings, even if it is just his opinion. I'm not trying to force him to be turned on by something he's simply just not into. But if I had never asked him why he wanted me to cover up so bad, he would have kept me cluelessly covering my body during sex so he could still get pleasure without feeling uncomfortable by my body. I don't think it is fair to expect me to allow myself to be disrespected in that way. For those comments telling me to get over myself, I'm allowing my body to recover from birth. I'm sorry for not immediately jumping into intense cardio after being dismissed from the hospital just so my husband doesn't make offensive comments about my body. I did attempt a formal conversation like mentioned before, but when it starts becoming a debate or heated, my husband wants to cut the convo short and tells me that I'm trying to start an argument between us. Opie then adds another update and says my husband and I did talk again, and it led to a bit of an argument. He told me that I'm dragging the situation out by continuing to be mad with him, and that he doesn't see why he should apologize for being honest with me. I began to avoid or ignore him again since I don't feel like talking to him if he's going to disrespect me and not care about my feelings after. He also told me that he'd just have to get used to seeing me like that, and that it will take time, but it doesn't mean he doesn't love me or appreciate me, which I don't believe. He thinks he's the man of the house and does not want to see my side of things, so I probably won't update again unless something progresses or changes, because then every update will be the same. He's done nice things since then. He has not formally apologized or at least admitted that even if it's his opinion, it was wrong for him to hurt my feelings. Puvian says to this, I've always said to people, no matter if you're right or wrong, you should acknowledge if you hurt somebody's feelings and apologize. But in this instance, I don't even think he would mean it, even if he did say sorry. This wasn't a heat of the moment thing to say. He meant it, and that's hurtful. In this situation, this is frankly disrespectful. Pregnancy is difficult. You'll physically and mentally go through a lot, and this takes time to recover from. And even if you don't go back to a pre-birth body, so what? You've birthed a whole human, and that's an amazing thing to do. If your husband loved you unconditionally, he would realize this. I don't think this is a situation you can just stick a band-aid on and recover from. If he doesn't realize the disrespect now, he never will. I simply wouldn't be able to look past that, it's got to be said. Not being able to apologize for the hurt that he's caused you, the way that he's made you feel after everything is absolute bullshit. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.